Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Simply Colorful FiberCast. Today's date is February 22nd, 2019. My name is Lynn Marquardt, and I'm your host. Grab a project and let's sew together for the hour. We're going to be working on charm squares. It's so good to see you out there, or to know that you're out there. And before we go any further, I'm going to set up our Facebook Live. You'll see I'm here in the Simply Colorful studio. So give me a minute to turn this on, and then we will get to making some charm square blocks. And then I have some other things to make that are half done, some sew together bags. So grab your project and let's see what we can do in 60 minutes. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Facebook Live here from the Simply Colorful studio. If you're into sewing or quilting or making things, please stay with me and join me for the next hour here as we make some quilts. I'm going to put you on the hand cam right now. If you want to see me in full-blown, the other view of the sewing machine and everything, go to the youtube.com/simplycolorful page and you can watch them both. Welcome. Let's get started. Here we go. Whoops. Okay. Just have to lock you in. How does that seem? Okay. That should work. There's my pile of scraps. Okay. So, again, we have the hand cam, and we also have you on YouTube. And behind me, check out these squares. Remember last week or 2 weeks ago, we started making the squares here on the right, which are pretty stunning from far away. But I have to tell you, they don't look all that great up close. They're not very precise when you do the stack and whack method. And I wasn't so pleased with them, although that looks kind of cool. Let me make sure that you're seeing that. Okay, yep. Instead, what I think I'm going to do is I put all of the squares out, you can see on my design wall here. And now I'm starting to just put a solid border around them. And that's what I have cut out, lots of different solid colors. And tonight I want to do more of this so that we can just put this charm pack to bed. I feel like I'm kind of hitting a wall with this charm pack design, although I haven't spent that much time on it. I did do this. So here, I wanted to try taking the 5-inch charm squares and doing like a disappearing pinwheel, but doing the basket. This is a Missouri Star pattern. I just made it smaller. And I like it, but look at how it's off. It's off in some places. It just doesn't look that clean. You know, it has a little promise, but quite frankly, I've been making my Dear Jane blocks that are this size, and I just as well would stick with that, rather stick with that than start another little project. So put that aside. Let me just make sure that we are seeing the right thing on the live camera. we are seeing the right thing on. Okay. Hey, hi, Sue Bryant. Oh, it's been a long time since you've watched one. I'm glad you're here. That's great. I hope you're staying warm. Hi, Sue Ellerith Norton and Judith Party Bryant. Hi, Cherish. Aw. Hi, Annie and Carol and Jean. So nice to see you out there. Grab your project, even if your project is a magazine or a glass of wine. I'm so glad you're here joining me. We have a lot to debrief on. If we can stay away from politics and sex and rock and roll. No, we can talk rock and roll. But what a news cycle it's been. Okay, so I'm just going to slowly take some of these polka dots off the wall and put pieces around them. So let's say we start with this yellow one. What I've been doing, and it's totally random, is, oh, you can't see that on YouTube, can you? Huh. How can I do that so that you can see it? Well, what I've been doing is putting 5" by 2.5" on each side, and then I do 9" by 2.5" on the other sides. I'll show you. I'm going to pull this in a little bit. Okay, so we're going to look at what happened in history. Oh, before we talk about history, I am learning how to follow car racing. Did anyone watch NASCAR, the Daytona 500 last Sunday? And I can't believe I'm watching it, but I really like the team aspect of it, the way you had the Ford cars and then you had Toyota and Chevrolet teaming up, and there are ways you can draft each other on the roadway or bump each other to get advantage. And of course, at the pit stops, those are just pure athletes who are doing, who are changing the tires and giving gas and all of that. That's fun to watch. Okay, I'm going to do this one as well while I wait for my iron to be ready. Let's see. Ooh, a blue would be kind of interesting on this one. This, like I say, I'm kind of not hitting home runs on these charm square designs. And I think it's because I'm not doing it on EQ. I'm just playing with the fabric, and I'm not as pleased with it. But maybe this one will surprise us. But I tell you, my sister, KB, has designed an amazing quilt, all from charm packs, I think, and some added fabric. And the open question is whether we should all do it as a mystery, and which charm pack do we use? So we're still working on that. Ooh, this is very tight. If I hit that somehow, there we go. I think I hit. Thanks to those of you who joined us at the retreat last week. I apologize for the video quality, but I hope you could tell we were having fun. And if there's one thing to take away from that, is I do hope that if you get the chance, you'll save up your money and go to a retreat, or just join some friends, go over to their house. Play dates aren't just for kids. That's going to be cool. You can see that a little bit. Okay. So now we're going to do another thing with these charm packs with the jagged edge. I don't like that. So I'm never quite sure what I'm lining up. Am I lining up the tip of the jags or the base of the jags? Does my machine sound tight to you? Feels tight. I don't think I've talked to anyone. I know I talked about it at the retreat, but I went up to New Hampshire. So I'm in Massachusetts. For those of you who are new, welcome. I'm so glad to have you here. I'm in Massachusetts, and I bought this Bernina. Come to find out, 9 years ago, up in New Hampshire, where there's no sales tax. And so I went back up to where I bought it because my walking foot was broken. Remember that last week or the week before? And she confirmed, the woman there confirmed that my walking foot is in fact broken and that it can't be fixed. I have to buy a new one. So then, of course, they get you because you're sitting there with all these beautiful, fancy machines that can cut the thread and lift the foot. And I have been thinking about whether I want to trade this one in and get a new one. I hope I can stick to it and not do it, but because I looked, so I'm curious if anyone out there has upgraded, say from, this is a QE 440, an Aurora 440. Like I say, it's 9 years old. It wasn't a new model when I bought it. It was a new machine, but the model had been out for a few years. And that's pretty. See, so they're just going to go together like that. Who knows? Maybe I'll offset them. But when I go up to the model 570, and if you're in front of your computer, you can go to the Bernina website and you can see these different models. And I have loved this machine. I really have. It's just that it doesn't do the automatic cutting. It doesn't have a walking foot now because that broke. And it has an embroidery module that I've never used. It's still in the box. So, of course, that would get traded in with it. This is like buying and selling cars. You do know that. You just talk yourself into paying a ridiculous amount of money, and then you walk off the lot, and it depreciates right away. But so my biggest concern when looking at the Series 500, and I know I'm all over the place here, on the Bernina is they've switched to it's a bigger bobbin, but you'll notice it's plastic, some plastic with some metal. Oh, and it also has, if I understood it right, a bobbin sensor. Can you imagine? So finally you could be told, oh, you're running out of bobbin. Okay, so here's a red one. Using my Panasonic iron, still happy with it. So there's another one. Okay, maybe what I'll do is I'm going to take these away, put that there, and get ready. And why don't we put this there so you can hopefully see what this is going to possibly look like. Those are kind of bright. and neat. Let's pull this and this and this and this. Okay. Let's see. This would be stunning. Red. Red on the green. Who's out there? Let me say hi. Oh, Carol, watch NASCAR whenever I can, but it takes until about Wednesday for it to appear on YouTube. Oh, that's interesting. So you like it too? I'm psyched to have discovered it. It sort of started, and my family, my mother has watched it for years. Last year, remember we went to Sellingsgrove in Pennsylvania, and that was just, it's exhilarating to see these powerful machines going around. And that's cool, Carol, that you like it too. Ha, Jean says maybe I do need a new machine. I need more reasons though. At the very least, I need a walking foot, because I literally have over there behind this camera, I have 2 quilts that I need to put the binding on. But if I don't use a walking foot, the binding gets all, it slips. It just doesn't work. Which brings me to the dual feed option of the Bernina. If you look online again, on the Bernina website, when you get up into the 500 series, they have the dual feed like Faft has had forever. And that just gives you more control, because it's like having feed dogs on both the bottom and the top, and it pushes the fabric along. I do like Facebook Live, that we can talk to each other. Ha, Cherish, I love that. Cherish says the walking foot missing should qualify you for a new machine. Yes. I love that. Of course, I was noticing downstairs in our house, I was looking at the tables. Now, I have a table at the foot of the stairs that really, it has water damage on the top, but it turns out it's actually a old Singer sewing machine. Then I go into the living room, and there's another table next to the couch. It's in better shape, but I cover it up, and it also has a water stain. Turns out that's a Singer machine. And then I look across, and sure enough, it's an old Free machine that my parents gave me. So downstairs alone, I have these 3 old machines that I use as desks. So I do have to be careful. So believe it or not, next Friday, if I'm doing my math, wait, Annie says something. You can buy generic walking feet that should fit. On the other hand, I had a Faft that had the dual feed, and I loved it. Oh, the Faft don't have walking feet, huh? Do the higher Bernina models have a wider foot? They had a wider throat, and yes, the dual feed, from what I remember, had a wider foot. It was like a D foot. So that's a good point. I couldn't use these accessories with it. And it had the wider foot because it had 3 sets of feed dogs, not just 2, like I have here. They also had something about, they were talking about the difference between 5mm and 9mm stitches. And if I were doing a lot, this cracks me up. You know I'm going to justify this. If you're doing a lot of doll clothes, you want the tinier stitches, which I know that for sure. But there was another, you could switch out the plates that you put in your machine. See, this looks so small. The 500 plate is bigger. But somehow they have a plate that has a smaller feed for the 5mm. And I didn't quite understand the difference on that. I have to read more about that. She thought I might want that. But aren't you proud of me? I walked away. I walked out of the store. I didn't buy a thing. And I do remember that comment about generic feet. Oh, let's try a blue here. Ooh, that's pretty. Let's go with. I found these solids in my stash. You probably recognize some of them. And the stitch still is pretty. Oh, I have it down pretty low. I have it 2.0. Still makes a good stitch, that's for sure. I think this blue, there might be some polyester in it. But it's pretty. After I do this, I'm going to switch to my Sew Together bag. So there is a company called Sew Demented that has created a pattern that's called the Sew Together bag. And we may have even made it here online before. It's this one. And it has the zipper. And then it has 3 pockets inside. Keep my pins in a nice fill bottle. But it has 3 pockets, and it's really a good size. So I demonstrated that at the Marathon Quilters Guild earlier this week. And I have some demo pieces that are partway done that I want to finish. So I thought I would switch after I showed you this idea for this quilt. I would switch to that because tonight is about doing UFOs. Oh. See? Did you guys see what happened? My machine pulled it under. Something is not. Okay, here we go. Becca Clash, if you're out there, I hope your quilt has arrived. This is not looking good. Look how flimsy this blue fabric is. Da, 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 da. Oh, these were cute. At my last doll club, someone had these little peel off. They're signs made in fabric that have peel off sticky, and you can put it on your quilts. My heart belongs to you. Oh, and this came from Carrie, Dragonfly. Oh, and here's another one that's fun. This one says, "You make me happy." Those are cute to embed or put on your things. Okay. But where is my... the seam ripper? Oh, I wanted to give a plug for West Pond Inn. If anyone is in or around Bolton, Massachusetts, or wants to come to Massachusetts for a retreat, it's a good one. It's for a small group, and there are two options. There's the main house that comes with food for about $100 a night, and then there's the back house where fully equipped by a quilter, 4 quilters. The back house is $75 a night, and you make your own meals. Oh, this blue fabric is so chintzy. So the question is, what should we do for the month of March? We could do rug hooking. We could do a mystery quilt. Definitely, we're not going to sew with polyester. This blue is ridiculously fussy. We could, actually, you know what I think I need to do? So I think I just answered my own question. Is we could devote March to Dear Jane. Because did anyone catch Sue Ellen saying that she was going to beat me? She was still going to win. So that's even more of a challenge. She's probably right. Oh my goodness. What are we talking about? Accessory tools? Hey, Jill Lazzari, the master knitter. Hi. The things you make with those, with yarn and needles, are amazing, Jill. Has anyone noticed my machine is acting up? That's so funny. I swear they can hear us. Oh, and look at that. It broke again. Yikes. Do I need this on? Does anyone know what setting I need to put my top on? Is it the red line? Okay, making a mess, but it's all good. Oh, this is going to be so funny. Annie says you can buy generic walking feet. Okay. Yep. 3 of anything constitutes a collection. So technically you have a collection of sewing machines. So now you can buy as many as you want to extend your collection. I love the way you think, Annie. My Janome dealer told me my machine would burst into flames if I used a generic accessory. LOL. So did it? Karen says not yet. Aw. Oh, and Sue Ellen. Why do I say Sue Ellen? Sue Norton. I keep saying her maiden name is Ellen, but it's Ellerith. Ellerth. She got the new Quilt Folk magazine, which is it now edited by Mary Fawns, whom I know that you have enjoyed meeting. Oops, sorry. Well, there's that one. That one was not very easy because I think there's polyester in this blue fabric. So I think you see where I'm going with this. Let's put these 2 up. And then this over here. The question will be, am I going to need to use my solids too? That'll be a huge quilt if I put things around the solids. It's looking so modern, isn't it? I'm liking it. Okay, well, why don't we put this aside? So you see where I'm going with that. And let's look at my Sew Together bag samples. This is the pattern by So Demented. And I think I put the link on our website. If I didn't, I'll put it in the Simply Colorful Facebook page after this. It's called the Sew Together bag. And I love it. I gave away the finished one, and then I cut out enough to make 3 more. So there's 1, there's 2, and then this one is furthest along, and this is the one I thought I would finish up tonight. So this one, I've already made the 3 pockets, and I've made the accordion on the side. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to affix it to the outer fabric, which already has the interfacing on it. And let's put that aside. And what you do is you actually bind it like you do a quilt. So let me show you how to do that. I'm pulling out some pins. Okay. So first we have to see if it's going to fit. And I think it is. It should. I just want to generally. Sue says she loves Mary Fawns. Yes. I've enjoyed Quilt Folk magazine. In fact, this West Pond Inn, I believe Sue Loring, who runs the inn and also owns the Quilted Crow in Bolton, right down the street, by the way, wasn't she profiled in Quilt Folk? Ouch. I could have my magazines wrong. She's an impressive woman. She cooked meals for us while also running her fabric store and catering to our every wish, and I don't know what else. So the trickiest part of this whole project is getting the accordion, this part, to lay down flat. so that I can put the side binding. And I'll show you what I mean. I'm doing it right now. Oh, maybe we want it to go that way. Maybe it wants to go that way. There's a lot of basting that goes on this step. I wish you could see this. What you want to do is get everything to line up here. And then I am going to go baste it, but then what we want to do is pull out the two shortest ones of these. So those seem to be the long ones. There and there. Okay. So we use these two short pieces that are folded in half, just like you do with quilt binding. And we're going to ultimately sew it on top here and then fold it over and bind it. But first, like I say, I think I want to baste it. And you really don't want to take anything more than 1/4 of an inch seam. Right now I'm taking about 1/8 of an inch seam just to tack it down. And when you get to the accordion part, make sure all the pieces are going the same way. Okay. Sure. Ooh, it's going to jump off now. Okay, here we go. Okay, so now that's basted on. And I can take off these pins so that we don't have any chance of hitting them. Oh, this one. Okay, now what I do, now you lie it flat, as flat as you can. Take one of these that you're going to end up covering on the end, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. So I'm just pinning this in Again, I would use I love this. I would use a walking foot for this if I had one. But as you know, I don't. Okay. So now let's give that a go. I may even do this twice. I may tack it down with 1/8 of an inch first. I tell you, this machine, remember we were making the sweater bag? This machine does not like heavy duty stuff, really. Though it could be my needle. Okay, so there I just tacked it down again with a 1/8 of an inch. Let's pull this off. Now I want to go back and do, yep, a little bit bigger, 1/4 of an inch. I thought I would do this tonight so that I can bring it down and do the rest of the handwork when I'm watching TV. Because we're going to watch the Oscars this Sunday. Can't say I've seen all the movies, but it will be fun to see their outfits. Okay, so see how that's got 2 there, 2 seams, and it's looking pretty good on the back. So now what I do is, just like a quilt, fold this over and then I hand stitch it. Even if I had a better machine, I don't have the skill to do that by machine, to catch it, or the patience, really. Look at what a mess I make. I'm thinking I'll be starting to fire up the Patreon camera on Saturday mornings. No set time yet, but that way I know people have asked, so what do you do the day after FiberCast? And it's the one day, well, it's 2 days of the week when I haven't been working all day, and it's more freeing. We have fun in the studio. We turn the music on, do all sorts of things. Okay, so there's one. Now we go to the other one, and it's the same drill. So let's see, I guess. Oh, Annie. Annie's going to be both of us, Sue, with her Dear Jane. Oops. That's so funny. Oh, no, Pat, you already won. Huh? So Pat says, I finished my last side triangle today, and I'm working on one of 3 remaining corners of Dear Jane. She says congratulations, Pat. That is great. She also goes on, says, you were making great progress last week on yours. How many blocks did you get done? I did. I made awesome progress. I lost count of how many blocks. I kid you not. I started from the bottom. I got all of row M and L done. And then I got some more L, M, N. No. What's before L? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. I got some in K. But it's a done deal. Next week, I'm pulling it all out. You'll see it all behind me. And wow, Pat beat us. But wait. No way. Sue, you only have 21 more blocks? You're killing me. And all the triangles. Ah. Good for you, Carol Bell. Carol says she's watched the Dear Jane piecing and how small the blocks are, and she's not even going to try. Good call. I have to tell you, I'm so far in, I can't stop now, but I'm only making one as far as I can tell. And I got 2 others hooked. So Joyce, if you're out there, hi. Joyce is going to keep working on hers. She has about 50 blocks done. And then Karen, who is published and has won awards for her quilts, she's intrigued by it. So we were looking online for the book for Dear Jane. There are no more books, I guess. You can buy some that are very expensive. The software is only available in CD-ROM. It's not available on Mac. It's not available for download on over the cloud. So if you have Dear Jane software or book, good for you. Enjoy it and treasure it. But Carol, I'm good for you. It's like that little millefort, or then those little 1/8 of an inch hexagons. I forget what that's called. I can honestly say I will never do those. But I sure do admire them. Okay, March better be Dear Jane month. Okay, you got it, Pat. Yay. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And then, once it's done, then we just have to put the zipper all along the top. I'm just going to try and get everything in place. For some reason, I feel like I'm going to break a needle. Let's see. Oh, let's go all the way to the end. Okay. So now we can take these pins out. Oh, I got a little tuck there. Okay. Same drill. Let's get this on. How are we doing? On time. I had a woman, Kathy Gamache. Jean, I think you know her. She dropped off a lovely spring quilt today that will be fun to do. It was made with a jelly roll with Easter colors and whites. So I'm excited to do that. I have to actually order some lavender thread that's the right lavender. My lavender's too pinky. I need a bluer lavender. Okay. Now we're ready. I'm going to again baste it with my 1/8 of an inch. Be sure not to run over pins. It'd be nice if I could show you how to do the zipper on the top of this. Okay, so now I'm going to go down another 1/8 of an inch so that we have a nice 1/4 inch seam. There we go. Okay, and then same thing. We pull this over. And Cherish! You and I need to go to the sewing machine store. How so is it getting finicky? Ah. There we go. Okay, so now while I'm here, what I'm going to do is just on the edge of each of the 4 corners, I'm going to sew that down just to show you how we're going to catch that when we do our zipper. So we might not even have to do that. We don't even have to do that. Okay, so here we have our bag that is ready to have a zipper go across the top like that, and then around on each side. And the way you do that is kind of ingenious. Actually, I am going to sew this down. Okay. So here it is. What you want to do is figure out the middle of it. And then put that in the middle of our bag. What is this one? Oops. Okay, so it's almost 10. So the middle is right there. Okay. So you put the zipper pull down. Oh, and I want to make sure it's lined up with where these zipper pulls are. See how the zipper pulls are all to the left? So I'm going to put this zipper pull to the left. And it's facing down, okay. It's a 50-50 shot that I put this in right. Just telling you. In fact, on the demo I did for the quilt group, I did it wrong. But that's okay, I had samples. Okay, so I've pinned that down. And then remember these two long remaining strips? These also are going to go down. So I'm going to find the middle. But I'm going to hold that there until I baste this. And I need to pull out my zipper foot. Oh, so what's happening? Finicky sewing machine. What? Hi, Joan Barrett. How are you? Speaking of Bernina machines, I don't know if you heard us talking. I went to get a new walking foot or get my walking foot repaired, and I saw some of the fancier machines, and I thought of you with yours. Okay, I'm just going to baste this. Oh, and I really don't want, well, it doesn't matter. Red thread will be fine. This won't show. Which is what I really like about this bag too, is it has a nice finish. You don't see any raw edges. Okay, so I've just basted this on. Now what I want to do is get this. Oh, and I lost the middle here. Right there. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's just the more you line it up in the center, the longer your handles will be on either side. Okay, so now this I am going to switch my thread. How are we doing? Hey, hello, I am well. I'm so glad you are, Joan. Yay. I'm taking out my red and I'm switching it for white because I'm going to be sewing on this white zipper. And that may potentially show. I can cut these off. Wondering if we're coming up on the hour. I have no idea what time it is. Okay, there. There's the white one. So I have a couple of quilts in the queue. If anyone wants to get some machine quilting done, I have some time. Just go to simplycolorful.com and check out what we have. It's pretty straightforward. You can pick your design. I'm going to start with pick your thread color. Pick the density of quilting you want. Okay. That's right. I forgot that this gets a little tricky. Because you don't want the bag to catch. So I'm creating a sandwich of the zipper and the binding and the bag. And then the binding will get turned over and hand sewn on. And it is shimmying. Okay, fingers crossed. So there's one side. What we're going to do is do the same thing, is pull it over and hand sew that, right? Then what we do is we do the other side. This and this. Okay, there's that. Now, we do all this, we cut all the extra threads. And I hope I've done this right. I didn't. Okay. Well, this is a good time to stop and show you what I did wrong and let you know what I'm going to do to back out of this for next time. So this Sew Demented bag, I just put the zipper on with an edging, but the edging is on the wrong side of the zipper. It should have been on this side and the zipper's down. So I think that's a good place to stop. I so want to thank you all for joining me on both the YouTube as well as Facebook. Keep on writing in, posting pictures of what you're working on. Get ready for Dear Jane month or Lucy Boston month or any sort of sewing month. We are going to put the pedal to the metal in March. Have a great weekend. Do what you love to do. Thanks for joining me. And until next Friday night at 8 p.m. Bye, everyone.